I want to get to this. Speaking of the administration, you know, when celebrities come out and endorse candidates, they talk about, we've taken a brave stance to protect democracy or whatever the buzzwords they've used. They're not really taking any risks because all of their friends in their social circles already always agree with them. Elon Musk, on the other hand, took a massive financial risk in supporting President Trump and unfortunately is feeling some of the repercussions of that. Tesla stock is down 45% since the inauguration. People on the left has said, well, driving a Tesla is basically just wearing a big MAGA hat out in public. Overall, political maneuvering happens. Personally, I think, there's a possibility that, well, Tesla products are just better and this is just kind of a blip. But I'm curious, Aaron, what do you think is going on here? Do you think Tesla rebounds because of how good their product is? Do you think, considering the fact that Tesla used to be the toast of libs who used to love EVs, what is going on here?
Yeah, so there are a few things. First, I would never bet against Elon Musk. I think that's a generally good rule of thumb. And we've seen similar to Trump, that character arc, right, where the left for so long made fun of him. I remember, again, because I come from this tech background, I remember people making fun of his ambition and his goals and saying that none of this would ever succeed. And now we're watching as he's restructuring the government while simultaneously you could be on a flight, as I was, and see SpaceX rockets in the air. And it's pretty unbelievable. What I think in terms of the stock, though, is if you're looking at the macro picture, stocks are down across the board, tech is down across the board. And so I do think it's kind of this glitzy headline of, wow, Tesla's down. And of course, we're seeing these attacks. It's absolutely deranged how the left is trying to burn Teslas. I saw overnight there were dozens of cars in a parking lot in Texas where the tires were just stolen off these cars, just as a big, clearly, middle finger to anyone with a Tesla, to Elon Musk. But, I think it's just really part of this macro trend where it's not fun, but what Trump and Elon are doing is dealing with the legacy of the left, which is very bad economic policy, a lot of printing money. And so we're going to have to see some adjustment to that.
Yeah, Chris, we were looking at some video of some what looked like fire bombings of Tesla Cybertrucks, I think in the Seattle area. The libs have taken to protesting at Tesla showrooms and making a big show of it. I mean, I think I know the answer to this, but how much more does this make you want to buy a Tesla?
I want to buy a Tesla. I mean, for the self-driving alone, I can get some work done on my commute in Nashville. But it just shows that Elon is doing this for the right reasons. I mean, we say this about Trump all the time. He doesn't need to do this. He's got all the money in the world. Well, multiply that by 10, and then you have Elon's money and Elon's value. Elon doesn't need to be here. He doesn't need to worry about this. He would still be a darling of the left if he wasn't doing any of this. And in the meantime, you're seeing deranged leftists do deranged leftist things. I saw one guy, this story was in Portland. He had a swastika scratched into the hood of his Tesla. And this guy was a lefty himself. He said, guys, I could have used the money to fix this and donated it to the DNC. Even after all this, a lot of these leftists still won't learn. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, the economics of it is fascinating, especially considering how much they just love Tesla. Also, Tesla being the only electric car maker that made any sort of dent. And I think we all remember Biden never mentioning Tesla when he's talking about the auto industry. Speaking of economics, I thought this was hilarious. Obviously, of course, this goes without saying, we are all massive WNBA fans. I personally never miss a game. Chris, I know you have floor seats to every WNBA game. That is, in fact, if Nashville even has a team. I don't actually know that for a fact, even as a massive WNBA fan myself. I want to play you this clip of Angela Reese, one of the dominant WNBA players, talking about the pay that the WNBA players receive and what she may do and her fellow teammates may do if the pay does not increase. Let's watch this and we'll get your reactions.
Girl, y'all benefited from everything. Y'all youngins benefited from NIL.
What does that mean? We deserve more.
Of course,
everybody.
I agree.
Everybody.
I agree with that.
But we got to get paid some consequences. Damn, we got to get it up.
Y'all got to do something. Y'all got to do something. I've been in the meetings. They are.
I need to get in the. I need to get in the field.
You need to come to the meetings.
I got to get in the meetings because I'm hearing they don't give us. If y'all don't give us what we want, we sit out.
That's a possibility for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting there. Just for some statistical reference, The WNBA has been around since 1996. It is yet to turn a profit. It has lost about $10 million per year. And 2024 reports from the Washington Post and the New York Post projected losses ranging between $40 and $50 million per year. Now, they say they want what the NBA wants, which is a revenue share. If they were to share the cost of losing $50 million a year, that would mean that every WNBA player would need to pay $173,000 in order to play. That's not making any money. That's out of their own pocket. Aaron, what are your thoughts overall with the misunderstanding of how supply and demand works?
I'm so glad you asked, because really what it boils down to is that the WNBA is welfare for tall women in America, right? If we were following basic economic principles, like you said, these women would owe us money for being forced to even talk. I want money for having to talk about this on this program, okay? And this is so boring. They are so bad. And you know what? If she's threatening to not play until she gets paid more, don't threaten me with a good time. Go ahead, be my guest. Don't play. And let's just, I would honestly, I would contribute money. I've never been to a WNBA game. I would pay the ticket cost for them to not play. That's how far I'll go. Okay. That's how much I hate the WNBA.
Maybe that would be a hilarious, I don't know if you would call it a protest, but like a stunt, a publicity stunt in a way to have the entire arena be sold out specifically to not watch them play basketball.
Please do not diminish my cause, which is to stop the terrors that is the WNBA, so we can all move on with our lives.
Chris, you are obviously, gonna fully disagree, as you are a diehard whatever
Yes.
WNBA team is in
Yes.
Nashville, I think. But do you think there's going to be any sort of, I don't know, lesson of economics that is going to be taught to these women who are apparently wanting the big money, the big bucks that the league that actually has viewers gets? Like, will they learn at any point?
Well, if they actually sit out, I mean, they're going to learn a few things the hard way. That's for sure. Who is going to come back to the NBA after the WNBA after they've turned their back on their fan? I don't know who would return to that. But the thing that the WNBA has is an issue in making stars. They had a star ready to go, Caitlin Clark, and then they doubled down on wokeism. They doubled down on the ideology, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry for being white." The WNBA has a really big issue. It really does start and end with the players, though.
Yeah, I've never seen a league or even group of people, for that matter, be so hostile toward their own success as they finally got one player that everybody's watching and they're like, oh, we hate this.